up everyone, it's the Yorkshire Panda. Welcome back to my Create Above and Beyond tutorials. Today we're going through some of the storage systems, a bit of the pros cons, but effectively how to use what's going to be the best to use for your builds. So early on, pretty pipes is going to be probably your only option. Now obviously your first storage is going to be drawers, chests. So let's just grab a chest. Let's stick it here. And let's pump this full of, get some stone, could do some dirt. Oh. Always like some oak planks. Then we might have some drawers with a few things in. Now, you won't have a controller early on, but I've just got one there to show this off. And then we've got our furnace. So, do you know what? I might need to smelt all of my crushed ore into nuggets, but all that effort going involved. Well, pretty pipes is going to be the first option you're going to have for a storage system. So, pretty pipes, when you first look at it, is just pipes. It's a way of piping things up and out. You get your wrench to quickly break and disconnect or reconnect the pipe to certain things. Go like that and everything seems good. Now, these modules you will come across, in fact you'll come across a few of the modules, but early on you'll have to be the low levels before going to the higher ones. And the three that you're going to use the most are probably going to be the retrieval, the extraction, and the speed increase. Now, retrieval nodes, if I slap one there, retrieve items from another inventory. So if we were to take the charcoal and tell this retrieve charcoal, you'll see the charcoal whizzing its way through the pipe there and into the furnace. If we were to stick a speed module on there, you'll see the charcoal fly. Speed modules are wonderful things. On the top, we might throw this extraction module. This has disallow and allow. So disallow, anything in the list is blocked, everything else is extracted. Allowed, nothing is extracted unless it's in the list. So let's say we wanted to cook some of this. We can set this to allow and say only pull out iron nuggets. And just like that, we can use this to cook up iron nuggets, which will then be automatically pulled out the top. In fact, no, not out the top. Remember how furnaces work? They've got to be pulled out the side. So let's reconnect that and pop you there. Or is it here? Yeah, I forget with furnaces, but yeah, effectively you get the drift. This will pull out. Oh yeah, nope, don't set it to that one. This will pull out the nuggets once they're cooked. I could even set it to just well, else if we put, stop breaking things, Lee. Let's get a piece of charcoal and just say disallow those, but allow everything else. Or I could even, let me, there we go, pulling nuggets out the bottom. Now, that's all well and good, but I've still got to access all these drawers. That's where this comes in. Now, it's made from an item terminal, which does the same thing, but the crafting terminal here lets you see what's attached to the pipes in the form of storage system. Now, I have got some creative things on here, but if I was to just take those off for a minute, you'll see we've got all the things listed. If we were to take out some of the stone from the chest over there, we select how many we want, and we request it, and then it has got to make its way through the system, and then into the terminal for me to get it. And then when I put it back, it gets put into the terminal and pushed into the storage. As far as early storage goes, this is brilliant. It does everything it needs to do. It just takes a little bit of time. If you want to speed things up, you get one of these, Pipe Pressurizer. This does require some RF energy to be prepared to power it up. And what this does, if I would go and request some stone again, it's there already. Put it back in. That increases the speed of all pipes connected to the pressurizer. So having that does speed up everything, make everything a little bit easier to use. Now, if we didn't want to have to go through the hassle of constantly taking out crushed ore, putting it into here, getting nuggets, we could tell this to autocraft. So crafting modules, which again you get periodically with the different upgrades as they go through. If we were to, let's pop it here, stick a crafting module on that. This is where we say on this, 1 crushed ore will become 3 iron nuggets. On here, we've got the iron nuggets that we've got in storage, but no more. Because what happens is, if we were to request 20, we can request the 9 that we've got, but to make the other 11, we have to craft them. The auto crafter will take the crushed ore in there, pull it out because of our pipe system here, and we'll slowly fill the gap over what we've requested. You can also just click on the 0 and it'll request, tell you how many you want to make. The thing is, this it does give you a few recipes you can use, but if I were to get, say, I don't know, cobble, and we've got stone here, so we know crafting module, 1 cobble becomes 1 stone. Cobblestone not found. So if I was to get, let's get a couple of stacks of cobble. Those in here. Now back to here and say I want a stack and 10 stone. Pull the stack that we've got in storage, but the 10 that we need, it will send into here. Now the problem with this is already working. As soon as it's finished crafting what it's crafting, it will fill out with the other awaited item. And if we say we want 10 more of these, or a few more of these, it adds to the list. And as soon as this is done, it'll pull those in and craft away. Basic auto crafting, you don't need to use your furnaces. This can be connected to anything with an input slot. So you could even use this when you got down to your RF machines. Your Redstone Furnaces, your alloy smelters and things like that. Even as far as your Tinker's Smeltery or Foundry, you can use these pipes to connect it all up. This is pretty fluid, pretty good. The only downside is, like I say, the speed at which it all works and the limitations in some of the other functions. Also, the storage comes as physical storage. So if you wanted to expand how much you can hold, you would have to stick another couple of chests on the system, or barrels, or drawers, or whatever. Now, if you wanted to keep track of a particular item, pipe item frames are the things that you need. So if I was to go into this, take out my nuggets, and pop it in there, it will tell you how much of that item you have in that connected network. So we can see that we've got 32 nuggets. So I know, without looking, go in here, get that many. If you're creating things like your kinetic mechanisms and stuff, you can have those on here as well. So at a glance in your base, you can see what you've got, even if the pipes lead off to a factory far off in the middle of nowhere. So, very versatile, very easy, very simple, very early, but it'll not be long before you find yourself looking at something a little bit better. Now, this is towards the end of the game, but you will be working towards an ME system from Applied Energistics. So, in a similar kind of fashion to how they've always been, you need your controller, which needs to be powered. And then from your controller, you'll have your disk drive with your storage disk inside. And then you'll have your cables with some of your terminals on. Pretty much how we all expect it to go. So like you see, you've got your normal terminal, which just shows the inventory, allows you to pull in and out. You've got your crafting terminal, which allows you to craft as well. And this is where things get a little more flexible. So when it comes to auto crafting, you have a couple of things. One of the items that you do have is a molecular assembler, which is there. So if I was to slap, let's get some cables. Boop, boop, boop. If I was to slap an interface against a molecular assembler, that will now allow me to auto craft. To do that though, we need a crafting storage. This gives the computer extra memory required to craft things. Now these are multi-blocks, so you can increase it. The more you've got, the more crafting it can do. If you want it to do multiple crafts at the same time, you get yourself co-crafting units. They all form one multi-block, which I think looks amazing. Now, you are going to need a pattern display, which, there we go, pattern terminal, and you are going to need some empty patterns. So you put your pattern terminal on a cable, go into here, and create your crafting. Now, at the minute, I've got nothing in here because all my stuff's in this chest. So let's take the wood out, throw that in here, go to the pattern terminal, and let's say I want to make doors. You put your blank pattern in here, you click to encode that pattern, you go to your interface, put the pattern in there, and now when I go back to my terminal, I've got the wood planks, and a door that I can craft, which it now crafts in there. Brilliant. So already a step above the pretty pipes, we can now automatically craft items in a normal crafting grid. Now, let's say I wanted to power this furnace again. We need an export bus. And what this does is if we hook it up to the furnace and then connect this back up to the system, we can tell this export bus, hey, export charcoal. And what that will do is any charcoal in the system, it will put into the furnace. Now, if we want to connect those drawers up, we then need a storage bus. what that does, hook it up to any storage, whether it's chests or whether it's drawers. You hook your cables up, and now all the stuff in our drawers and in our chests are part of the storage system, and our export bus is putting the charcoal into here. Now, I want to be able to auto-craft that iron nuggets again. So if we take this interface, slap it on here, in fact, let's put the interface here, because they can furnace. I picked the one item that can be a bit funny with inputs, but we're telling you to keep you stocked up on charcoal, and then we go to here, we get some more patterns. Might as well get a few, haven't we? Put them in here. Now, I know that one crushed ore becomes 3 nuggets. So here, you click this one, crafting pattern. Click that, and it will change to a processing pattern. So I can now say crushed ore is 3 nuggets. That goes onto a pattern. You can double check the pattern by hovering over it or by pressing shift to see what the craft item is. Now if we go to this interface, put that in there, go to here, we've got 35 nuggets in our system. But I can now go here and say craft me 30 more. And that will start putting through here the nuggets into this. I knew it'd be funny. Like I say, I picked the one machine that can be a bit of a pain when it comes to stuff like this. But that's the way it is. Effectively, the logic's there. I just picked a really bad item to do this with. Let's fix that, shall we? Redstone Furnace. So as long as we make sure we've got auto output enabled, disabled, enabled, input output from the same slot, you'll see we're now crafting those extra nuggets that we had available to craft. You can do that with any machine. Stick the interface on there. You can do it with smelteries. You can do it with all sorts. Just stick an interface on it. It'll input the items. You can then set it to automatically output outside of the interface, or if you're doing something a bit bigger, output it elsewhere. Now, the other advantage to this is wireless access. So you will need one other thing, actually. These few items. You will need a wireless receiver, which just hooks onto a pipe somewhere. No, not that one. It's that one. Wireless access point. Just hooks onto a pipe somewhere. You need a security terminal. And then you need a wireless terminal. Now, on its own, it doesn't do anything. Go to the security terminal and put your terminal in that slot. You are now linked to that storage. There's no crafting grids. You can only take items out and in. You can request autocrafts, but the range on this isn't very far. That's where these come in, wireless boosters. So on your access point, you put a wireless booster and it'll increase not only the range, but the amount of RF it uses. And if you were to spell booster right, stick a whole stack in there, 528 block range, but using 4,000 RF per tick. Yeah. So there is a bit of an exponential increase. You will find, depending on how big your factory is, half a stack is usually more than enough. But yeah, that then gives you plenty of access wherever you are. It does, if you go to other dimensions, it's immediately blocked. So you've got to be in the same dimension as well. But this system will be a good start to any network. Will be the end point. However, there's one part that goes somewhere in the middle, which is broken in the most brilliant way. So, Occultism is in the pack. It's a throwaway crafting recipe for part of the automation, but really, that one block with just one of these can change your entire storage system altogether. So I'm just going to grab all the stuff that's in there. And we're going to get this. Now, these act in a similar way to the ME network. You can put items in, you can take items out. It's got a crafting grid. The problem is, on its own, this doesn't store much. 128 stacks of items. That being said, a stack isn't considered just one stack. It's considered somewhere in the region of 1,000 of that one item. It's absurd. By sticking one of these dimensional stabilizers on a wall facing this glorious glowy thing, that 128's become 384. And you can have 4 of those stabilizers pointing at it. So that's 1,152 stacks of about 1,000 per stack. This can do away with pretty much all your storage worries altogether. Now, crafting it isn't too difficult, really. The storage actuator makes a pedestal, some ingots, book binding foliate. Pedestal's just other stone. And the spectral compulsion is one of the earliest rituals you can do. The crystal matrix, a little bit more difficult, but again, blocks of quartz, you'll need to have got to the nether. Ender pearl, binding gin. Striga's higher binding only needs the white and the gold chalk. So again, it can be made really early on. The dimensional stabilizer, copper, blaze powder, a tuned gem, which is just a diamond thrown into spirit fire, and the pedestal with a foliate book. That, the very second you get to the nether, you're able to make this. And that being said, you don't even really need to go to the nether, because if you were to just buy your nether quartz, your blaze rod here, you don't even need to go to the nether. You can just buy the stuff and have this all set up. Now, the thing about this is, once you've got a 4x4 like this, it's a bit cumbersome to get into and interact with. You've got these two items. The Accessor, which right-click, you shift right-click the actuator, and then you've got access to that storage. And unlike the ME system, this has got infinite range, or near infinite range, and works across damage. The auto crafting with the ME system is far superior, but the fact that you've got instant access to this storage anywhere you want can be a lifesaver if you're out mining somewhere, you just need to dump your inventory, or if you're in the nether, you need to build a bridge, just pop into here, pull out some cobble, away you go. We've also got these stable wormholes, which, again, spectral compulsion, foliate, wormhole frames, which is just gold and other stone. Really easy to make. The storage accessor, Sugar's higher binding, and you need an innate storage accessor, which is just tablets, buttons, gold, and another stone tablet. Easy, simple to make. The wormholes, on their own, don't do anything. Shift right click the actuator and you can link the wormhole. You've now got an access point. Again, works cross-dimensionally. But here's the neat trick. This has got nothing in it now apart from what's connected to the drawer. If I was to put a wormhole here, and we got one of these storage buses, connected it up, we're now connected to the Occultism storage system through a wormhole to wherever this is. So you could have this just about anywhere, hook up a wormhole, and have these set up wherever you want. You could even, if we were to get a creative energy cell, this is surefire how broken this is. Monitor. Yep, that's all we need. Oh, and a wormhole. Let's go to the power. There's our wormhole. Storage. Stuck on you. Terminal. We've got access. So this gives you the ability to make your ME system portable. It doesn't have access to the auto crafting because that's linked to the main one there. But you've got portable ME system. So instead of, I mean, to be honest, I don't think you need anything because of that. But if you were, say, have got a farm somewhere and you're using the ME system to control the inputs and outputs, there you go. Trans-dimensional infinite-range portable wireless ME system. And there is auto-crafting you can do with this through the Foliot transporter and Jin machine operator through the rituals that you can get. That being said, once you've got this set up, you can also use the pretty pipes. So if we was to do this, we're going to say to you, inputs to the top, and let's do the crush door. Now, it's not going to pull from the drawers because the drawers connected to here. And these can't connect to drawers in the way this can, which is the big disadvantage. But instead of having a drive full of storage cells, which can easily just end up having multiple drives, one of these, and maybe a couple of upgraded storage stabilizers, can replace that and any more of these that you'll have. And then you just got to draw together for some of the extra stuff. Yeah, that's all the storage you need, really. And if I did go and just put that in there, the pretty pipes have just pulled it straight back out again. Because the pretty pipes will hook up to this as well. It is so early you can get a hold of this, and so unbelievably powerful. And when it comes to the bigger storage stabilizers, they do get vastly more expensive as you go on. The level 2s, for example, require silver, tune gems, your dimensional 1 stabilizers, and a gas tier, which you can't just straight up buy gas tiers. You can buy catalyzing glands. They do become gas tiers. So, like that. But they, again, are quite expensive. The level 3s require the level 2 gold, spirit tune crystals, and nether star, which is where it starts to get a little expensive. The only way to get a nether star is killing the wither. And then you've got the tier 4s, which require the tier 3s, tune gems, isnium, which is a pain to get a hold of in large quantities, and dragon head, which you can only get from severing the ender dragon or the airships in the end. But 3,900, I mean, that's just with one of each, but if I was to just level these up all up to tier 2s, 2,176,000 stacks of 1,000 that you can have. That is your best way. So if you want my absolute advice on what to do when it comes to storage and create, use pretty pipes for a lot of the transporting between places, but the very second you're able to, build this. It will save you so much of a headache trying to figure out where to put things. And once you've got the wormholes, you've got instant access no matter where you are. And then when you do get the ME systems, just replace the pipes with the ME cables. But don't bother with the drive. Just stick to the dimensional actuator, storage actuator, and job's a good one. And with that, I think that's it. So if you like that, hit the like button. If you really liked it, hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see more stuff like this. I am going to be doing a couple more, maybe another 1 or 2 of these create above and beyond tutorials. But if there's anything that you want to ask, anything you're stuck on, or anything you need a little bit of help or advice with, just drop me a comment. Tell me what you're stuck with. If I haven't already done it, I will see if I can make a video just for you so we can get an answer and try and get a bit of progress for you. But besides all that, you guys take it steady. Have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.